Creating an exchange is a quick and easy process. In this video, I'll be running you through the steps so you have everything you need to create a great engagement. The first step is to log into ThoughtExchange at my.thoughtexchange.com using an email address and password. Once you log in, you should see the landing page you see here. If you do not see the landing page or have the option to create engagements, reach out to your account administrator to make sure you've been given the permissions you need. To get started, I'll click the Create button in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If you have permissions that allow you to create both exchanges and surveys, you'll need to select which one you'd like to build. If you only have Exchange Leader permissions, you'll head right into the exchange creation workflow. Here, I can view and select a templated exchange if I'd like some of the details to be filled in for me automatically. I can learn more about any of these templates by clicking the Learn More button. For the purposes of this demo, we'll build a blank exchange. And here we've moved into the main exchange creation stepper. Depending on your account settings, you'll see either 4 or 5 steps indicated at the top of the screen. The participant step we see here will only appear if you've been set up with the contact upload feature or with our Slack or Microsoft Teams integrations. The first step is called Exchange Details, and this is where you can enter some basic information, including a title that you can use to stay organized, an objective that describes the goal of my engagement, selected from a list here, the open-ended exchange question that my participants will share thoughts in response to, and an introduction that my participants will see informing them about the engagement and its purpose. You may also choose to include an attachment, such as a video introduction using the Add Attachment option here. If you do include an attachment, use this toggle to have it appear before or after the introduction, depending on your preference. Finally, you can use the Custom Leader Name option if you'd like something other than your own name to appear on the exchange. By default, participants will see the name you've set up on your profile, but you can use this option to use a team name or an organizational name instead. Once I'm done with my exchange details, I'll click Save and Next to move to the next step. I could also click Save as Draft if I want to save my work and return to the main landing page. The next step is called Survey Questions, and this is, unsurprisingly, where I can create any close-ended survey questions I want to include to supplement my main exchange question. The responses my participants provide to these questions can help me segment my data later or may be useful on their own. I can build questions from scratch using the Add Survey Questions drop-down menu here, or use templated questions if any exist for the room that I'm working in. There are 6 question types: multiple choice, checkbox, drop-down, Likert scale, satisfaction score, and comment box. Depending on your account settings, you may also see this option for a question matrix, where multiple questions of the same type can be combined into a table to make things a little bit easier for your participants. If you'd like to learn more about each question type and how to use them, please check out our help article about each of the survey question types on our help site, get.thoughtexchange.help. Very briefly, multiple choice questions provide a list of responses where participants are asked to choose only one answer. Checkbox questions provide a list of responses and allow participants to choose more than one response. Drop-down questions present response options in a drop-down menu and ask participants to choose only one answer. These are handy for questions with long lists of possible responses. Likert scale questions ask participants to rate their agreement or alignment with an idea on a 5-point scale. Satisfaction score questions ask participants to rate their satisfaction in some area on a scale of 1 to 10. And comment box questions allow participants to write their own response to a question. These responses are capped at 300 characters and will not be seen by other participants, unlike the thoughts shared in response to the main exchange question. I can add response options by clicking the plus sign or remove them by clicking the minus sign. I can add an other response option for each question. I can also upload response options in bulk by clicking the bulk answers option here and adding to the list. Each row is a different response option. Here I've quickly created a few demonstration questions. When I create a new question, my previous questions will enter this read-only format. I can edit these questions by clicking the pencil icon here. When I'm done creating my survey questions, I'll click Save and Next to move on to the Schedule step. The Schedule step is where you can configure an automatic launch date and deadline date for your engagement. All I need to do here is select when I would like my exchange to close, and if I want to have it automatically open, I can toggle this option on and choose the date and time for that as well. All dates and times correspond to the local time of the person building the engagement. So if I'm on the West Coast and set my survey to close at 9 p.m., it will close at 12 a.m. for participants in the Eastern time zone. Once I'm finished with this step, I'll click Save and Next again. Depending on your account settings, your next step may be this one, where if you like, you can set up automatic invitations that will go out to your potential participants through email, Microsoft Teams, or Slack. To learn more about any of these features, check out the help articles about each of them at get.thoughtexchange.help. If I use any of these features, I'll have the option to customize my invitation message here. For this demonstration, I'll toggle this option off and click Save and Next to move to the final step. The Summary step is where I can review my work before launching my engagement. Here I can see all of the information I've entered previously to make sure everything is as I want it to be. If I need to make any changes, I can click back to any previous step, or I can click the Launch button to generate a link for my engagement that I can begin sharing out with participants at my convenience. But before I do that, let's take a quick look at a couple of final options. In reviewing my engagement, I may want to look at it from the perspective of one of my participants. I can do that by clicking the Preview button at the top of the page. This will save my work and open a new tab where I can move through the exchange and see exactly what my participants will see. Preview mode will not save any of the responses I enter here. It is for review purposes only. I can share this link with other people I want to review my exchange before I launch it, but be careful not to accidentally share this link with your participants because, once again, none of the responses I enter here will be saved. If you load preview mode when your exchange is active, there will be an option in the initial dialog box to redirect participants to the active exchange link. I can move through the exchange and once again see everything from the perspective of one of my participants. And when I'm finished reviewing the preview, I can close this tab. Finally, we have the Settings menu, which is indicated by this gear icon in the upper right-hand corner next to the Preview button. The number of tabs you'll see in the Settings menu will appear on your account settings and the settings for your engagement. First is the General tab, where I can set up any moderation settings I would like to use for my exchange. To learn more about moderation and these different options, explore the articles on our help site, get.thoughtexchange.help. I also have the option to require my participants to create a ThoughtExchange account and log in with an email address and password to participate in my engagement. This adds a step for participants, but it's handy if I anticipate that they will be returning to participate in multiple sessions. Requiring participants to log in ensures that the software will recognize them and allows them to pick up where they left off, even if they switch devices. Their account information will not appear with their responses. It's only used to create a smoother experience for participants. Also, if my profile has permissions that allow me to create exchanges as well as surveys, I can switch between those options here. The Language tab is where I can adjust the multi-language capabilities of my engagement. ThoughtExchange supports custom translations for English, French, and Spanish. If I activate any of those options here and click Apply, when I come back to the main exchange creation stepper, I'll see a new step called Translations. This is where I can enter custom text in French or Spanish for any of the elements I've created for my exchange. The basic instructions participants see cannot be changed. Back in the Language menu, there's also an on-off toggle for Offer additional participation languages with Google Translate. This selection is on by default and allows participants to choose any Google Translate supported language to participate in. This saves me the work of translating things myself, but means that the translations might not always be perfect. If I would prefer not to offer that option, I can turn it off here. The Participation Groups tab allows you to create a sorting question that will split participants into separate groups. Only participants in the same group will be able to see and rate each other's thoughts, but I can choose to analyze the results separately or across all groups at once. This sorting question is set up just like a multiple choice survey question, and also allows you to use a template if any have been created for the room that you're working in. Depending on your account settings, you'll see the next tab is Survey Question Branching. This tool allows you to create a custom path through your survey questions for participants based on their answers to previous questions. You can set up conditions that will show or hide questions based on previous responses, create drill down questions for series of questions that build on each other, or end the survey for a participant after a particular question. To learn all about survey question branching, check out the article on our help site, get.thoughtexchange.help. Finally, you'll see the Contact Information tab, where I can create a space for my participants to share contact information securely. I may wish to collect contact information so that I can reach out to volunteers to participate in the next step of my engagement process, to offer some participation incentive, or for any other reason. Here I can create a custom message for participants about why I am requesting contact information, and I can choose the number of thoughts that they will rate before the option appears. The contact information form appears in a separate dialog box from the rest of the exchange, and the data is not linked to any other responses. Providing this information is always optional for your participants. When I'm finished in the Settings menu, I'll click Apply to save my changes, and then Exit to move back to the main exchange creation stepper. Once my exchange is ready to go, I can click the Launch button. This will open a dialog box that contains everything I'll need to invite people to participate in my engagement. My exchange will now appear in my main list of engagements. Here I can click the Results button to view the results of my exchange so far, or I can click the Management menu to edit the content of my exchange, retrieve the invitation information, or anything else I might need to do. And that's all there is to it. We hope you found this video useful. Until next time, happy thought exchanging.